Oh, it's difficult to start. F the looters and the violence. Boring. But the race and racism open up questions that, they burrow down to good, to beauty. And how can those concepts exist without their counterparts? And what does it mean to be human?
Get off that slippery slope and get on with it.
All right. Okay, so, last Saturday, June the 6th, I took my trusty California steed down to the Rumerberg for the Gegen Rassismus demo. I believe that's what it was called. Black Lives Matter, something like that. What a crowd. So many young, beatific faces. But the mayor of Frankfurt was droning on about, I couldn't really say. And he was putting all those cherubim and seraphim to sleep. I had to save the day. So I hacked and coughed, and the sea of bodies parted for me and my COVID-19 infested beard. I'm finally here, I said in stentorian tones to the man guarding the stage. I believe it was my Walt Whitman beard, though, that made him stumble backward and land on his ass. Pardon me, I said, extending a hand, but he scrunched away like an odd-looking land crab. Well, I crossed the stage directly to the mayor and took the mic from him. He looked at me with wide eyes, and I calmly told him, hey, that you've done a great job. Thank you very much. His mouth started moving, but nothing came out of it. And I gave him a wink and turned to the crowd and said, let's hear it for the mayor. Come on, put your hands together. Wasn't that great and so inspiring? I know I feel like a better person now. Thank you, Mayor, thank you. The crowd went crazy. What a roar of approval they gave him as all those angels came awake. Now it was my turn. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today as a privileged white male. And it is my privilege to have the privilege of addressing you all today. It's a burden I don't take lightly. Of course, then it wouldn't be a burden, would it? There's been a lot of talk about historical figures of late, but one man has been missing from the conversation. And to me, he is the greatest American to have ever lived. And I know my father agrees with me. I am referring, of course, to George Washington. He was a slave owner, someone screamed. And then there were chants of slave owner, slave owner, slave owner, echoing and ricocheting in the square. I raised my hands and made that slow flapping motion to get the crowd to quiet down. Okay, you ahistorical louts in the peanut gallery. That's a cue. I'm talking about George Washington Carver, the black Leonardo who invented peanut butter. Spread the peanut butter, spread the love. And as I raised my hand in triumph, the black-clad sea of humanity sporting swooshes and stripes and other logos and symbols. Did it have corporate sponsorship? I don't know. Well, the mob went berserk. I let the mic drop. I saved the day. Spread the love. Make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, goddammit. 7. Nobody's life matters. And Frankfurter sind bekloppt. And Emily needs a proper...
Be free. Be a fubbaroo. Always.
Oh boy. If I observed someone my age living my life, I'd be horrified. What a nightmare. Poor guy. And I'd think to myself, what a wonderful world. And you knew it was coming eventually, didn't you? Of course you did. It's no wonder Mr. Sparrow put a gun and ammo in that box. He had the prescience to see that they'd be rattling the cages of the animals, and all those Pavlovian animals, ooh, they would be roaring or taking a knee. The zombies are here. Oh, the joys of destruction and mayhem and seeing do-gooder hypocrites making their obeisances. Did I get that right? I don't know. I'm so sorry for being me sometimes. Well, they warm my heart. And when you throw in zombies in uniform shooting at defenseless citizens, oh, doesn't that just warm the cockles? Light 'em up. It's not really about the color of a person's skin, you prisoners. It's called Pluto-democracy. And black lives don't matter because nobody's life matters. Not really. Not as long as you just keep buying swooshes and stripes and apples. And just wave goodbye to critical thinking and personal responsibility. Straight down the pipe. That's where I wanted to throw it, but it bounced in the dirt. Never aim, just let it rip, as my Uncle Richard used to say. Yeah, it's been a few odd weeks, and pardon me, I need a sip of coffee. I haven't gotten very far with what happened to Emily or her brother. And I've been spending too much time alone, which is never healthy. But I prefer it that way at the moment. People put vinegar in my blood. Is that an expression? F if I know. I might as well suck on lemons. Sour puss. But no, I did find some things out about Emily. She was beaming with the martini glass raised in triumph, and those perfect American teeth nibbled on the edges of my soul. And her other arm was around her unsmiling brother. He looked like he was trying to be someone he was not, someone he isn't. And she was in a dark blue satiny dress, with only 2 spaghetti straps interrupting that expanse of gentle slopes and sharp lines. And her clavicles and trapezii took me back to geometry class freshman year in high school. She looked like paradise standing at the bar. Can I say that? Isn't that being sexist? I haven't been able to write much in this climate because anything I write or say will step on someone's family lineage or toes, and there it is. What about people without toes? You know, I have to strangle my fountain pen dry and just give up. That's what I should do. But I'm not going to give up on finding Emily. The picture of her in the blue dress was taken at one of my favorite restaurants. It's in the Bahnhofsviertel, or it was. It closed down a year or so ago. I got the pic from her Facebook page. She only had a few posts. I'm not a social media guy, so I had to get some help from gentlemen. Yeah, my nephew in Portland, he was too busy with video games to help me out. But Emily, she doesn't seem to be much of a social media maven either, or at least we gentlemen and we couldn't find much of anything on her. And no, I haven't gone to the Polizei. I couldn't go after I got whacked on the back of my head because I was carrying a gun. And going the next day would have been odd, suspicious, maybe. She hadn't been on WhatsApp since that evening. And all I ever got was an electronic voice on her handy telling me to leave a message whenever I gave her a ring, tried to get a hold of her. So I had her address, and I took a ride on California to her apartment in Offenbach. I did that the next day early. Her apartment is in one of these new complexes that I thought was a movie set, but it turns out people really do live there. Offenbachers. Doesn't that sound like a baseball team from the 20s? You know, the roaring 20s, not the dystopian 20s, with black and white striped socks. So I pressed the buzzer for Sousa, but of course there was no one home to buzz me in. I called her mobile incessantly, incessantly, like a stalker, and kept dropping by her place every day and always no answer. Well, on the third day, I decided to buzz a neighbor, Schmidt, or something like that. Nothing. But Cold Doach answered and buzzed me in. I echoed up 2 flights of faux marble stairs to Miss Coldoach's place, and she greeted me all au courant. In the doorway, a cigarette burning in her right hand. Her body looked like someone had glued together sticks, and even in her bare feet, she was at least a couple of inches taller than I am, and I'm at least 6'1" with shoes. She was a fashion model, originally from Istanbul. But I won't bore you with the details of our love-making later that day. That's for another time. But she told me that she had seen Emily the day before, but that there was something strange about her. She didn't seem to be herself. Emily had told her that she'd be away until early June. What? Huh. I also asked banker Mark at the pub to see if he could find anything out about her. He works at the same bank as Emily. He said a colleague in her department had told him that she was on sick leave. "She's that hot blonde, right?" he said. "What are you up to, Stanley?" I told him I'm not like that, but I didn't tell him what had happened. Yeah, so Frankfurt's back to about as normal as it's ever been, and Frankfurter sind bekloppt, as I heard one woman say to her husband. She was commenting on a long line of zombies waiting to get into some fashion store. The Wu flu's over, so let's go shopping and buy crap, because buying crap is life. It's all turned into one big cartoon, hasn't it? I don't know what's going on. Where the hell is Mr. Sparrow? He hasn't turned up either. I need some help here. Emily needs a proper private eye. Yeah, maybe I'll pay Miss Coldoach another visit this evening. I've got to relax a bit. Until next time. Just take care.